Mmm. Good apples. Our apple tree looks crazy.
Yeah, maybe when the wind blows, it looks pretty.
Hmm?
When the wind blows, all the petals come off. Not like today.
Oh, they come off?
Well, yeah, whenever the breeze gets all that.
So they're already getting pollinated and stuff,
Yeah,
huh?
that's why I've been watching the bees and hearing them. Yeah, but it's funny, those little short ones here, I guess they are blooming. Here's they're not bloomed off the ones.
Oh, yeah, they haven't flowered yet, huh?
But they're beautiful.
It's weird people have been saying how there's no bees anymore, but I see bees as many as I used to.
I know, and then I see stuff on here TikTok and they're like, what's a bug you used to see all the time as a kid you never see anymore? And they're like, roly polies and like all these.
Oh,
I was like, I
brother.
see them every day.
It's just they don't go looking for them
You guys
anymore.
just need to get outside more.
I'm trying to think if there's a bug that I used to see that I don't see anymore. Uh, there really isn't that I can think of. I mean,
Roly poly right now. There's another one. They're everywhere.
roly polies?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just as abundant
Yeah,
as
the
they
same
always
time
have.
I noticed they were all crawling around the rim of this pot.
I used to see more like newts and stuff, but I used to
Yeah.
go looking for them.
There was someone at the hot tub was here. There was those long, I don't know, you look like a long
The
one.
black ones
Yeah.
with the teeny legs.
Yeah, yeah,
Those things
really
are
long.
weird.
Yeah, it was weird. It freaked me out because I was digging and I was like, ah! I'm like, I
They
didn't
look
want
like a little snake or a
I didn't
worm or
want to
something.
hurt them, and I was like, what is that?
But their legs are so
Little.
fucking small and tiny, and their
They're
body is
long.
like sizable compared to their legs. I mean, it's like, how do those things even
I
work?
don't know, but yeah, they were here. So they're here. They're trying to.
They're like T-Rex style legs, you know, they're just like or arms or whatever. It's
Yeah.
just like those things would otherwise seem useless. They're so
The
teeny.
T-Rex arms are now dragon wings. You just know the wings were taken off.
That's right,
That's
right. The
why they look
T-Rex,
dead.
yeah, it was
But this
missing
is
its
the wing
wings.
with
Yeah,
the wings
exactly.
still
It's a
there.
dragon. They might have taken like an actual skeleton and then just like taken the wings off of it.
Yeah. And then they were like, take these wings. This is a pterodactyl.
The
This is a T-Rex.
pterodactyl is
Yeah,
supposed to be a
they're long.
dinosaur too, huh? A flying lizard.
Yeah. They kind of look like a pelican. They got a big head.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. I imagine they eat fish.
A fire-breathing pterodactyl.
I
Dactyl is.
don't know which Jurassic Park, like the third or whatever. The ones they started falling off. There was a new one with like pterodactyls, and they are actually pretty scary
In the movie.
in the movie. Yeah.
How many have they made?
I don't know. They made a lot of.
I only thought of there was two, but I guess I can imagine
No,
they want to
there's
capitalize on that.
more. Yeah, I saw the first two. I seen the most, but then I saw they have some really dumb one that was like an amusement. Well, I guess the whole thing is about amusement park, but it was a newer one. It was, I guess the whole Jurassic Park one. Anyway, there was
Yeah, well, what I mean was like rides.
yeah, they have rides and stuff.
I think they had a ride in the first one too. You had to get in like a little jeep, and then
Yeah.
yeah, it was like automated. It's all rinky dink, and they got all these dinosaurs. What a crazy movie. Yeah, I remember when I watched the Jurassic Park when I was a kid. Yeah, it's like I was listening to the science, you know, where it's like we found a mosquito in the amber, and we found the DNA of the dinosaur. I was like, well, that makes sense. They could do that. I've been drifting along in the same stale shoe, losing, tying the noose in the back of my mind. You thought you were making your way, the puzzles and pagans lay. Unless I put it together, it's a strange invitation. When I wake up, someone will sweep up my lazy bones. We will rise in the cool of the evening, I remember the way that you smiled when the gravity shackles were wild. Something is breaking when I think it's all beginning. Drifting along the same stale shoes, loose ends are tying the noose in the back of my mind. You thought you were making your way where the puzzles and pagans lay. I'll put it together. It's a strange invitation. Put it together, it's a strange invitation. Put it together, put it together. Orale. What's up, Sue and Abrao Costa? Metallica Fade to Black. How does that go again? Take my breath away, or something. It's kind of a depressing song. I think I'm going to stick with more cheery stuff right now. That's a really depressing song, man. It's like this paraplegic dude from the army. He was like, I don't know, the video for that is just so morbid. I mean, what do you expect from a band whose first album is called Metal Up Your Ass? It's a knife sticking out of the toilet. The imagery is just, I remember seeing that on t-shirts when I was younger, and I was like, that's awful. Well, since Sue is here, I'm going to play some Rocky Top. Wish I was out on Rocky Top, out in the Tennessee hills. There ain't no smoking fog on Rocky Top, ain't no telephone bill. Once I had a girl on Rocky Top, half bear, the other half cat. She wild as a mink, but sweet as soda pop. I still think about that. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Well, once two strangers climbed up Rocky Top looking for a moonshine still. They never came back down from Rocky Top. I reckon they never will. Corn don't grow it all on Rocky Top. Dirt's too rocky by far. That's why all those folks on Rocky Top get their corn from a jar. Rocky Top, you'll always be home, sweet home to me. Good old Rocky Top, Tennessee. Who's Ross Yaxes? Never heard of them. Peaches by the Presidents of the United. Oh, that's a good band. I don't know how to play that one though. Intro to Peaches. I'll have to look that up. I don't know what that is. Keep throwing ideas out there though. I might know some of them. I'm not that well versed in all the. There's so much music out there in the world. It's overwhelming. I just decide to write my own most of the time. Somebody asked me what my favorite song was the other day. I'm like, oh, it's one of my songs. My favorite song is mine, the one that I wrote. It goes like this. What do you think? It's pretty good. Kind of short. Just kidding. It goes like this. I didn't go to heaven, heaven came to me. I didn't come around, I just came to be. Didn't write this song, it was here all along, waiting for your ears to hear. Just waiting for your ears to hear, and now that you are here, well, everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to wait. It's a picture perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Picture perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? And take my advice. Don't think twice. Diving headstrong. Don't wait too long. Everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to wait. No time to waste. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to waste. Everything's in its right place. The middle of everywhere. Nothing as the middle of nowhere. You can never be in the middle of nowhere. There's no such thing as the middle of nowhere. You can never go there. The middle of everywhere. The needle on the compass is straight, indicating to you if you follow through, you will never return. It's a straight line through and through. If you follow through, you will never return. If you follow through, it's up to you. I'm just singing a song to you. It's a song that is true. And everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to wait. It's a picture perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Picture perfect paradise. Isn't it nice? Take my advice, don't think twice. Diving headstrong, don't wait too long. Everything's in its right place. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to wait. No time to wait. Everything's in its right place. There's no time to wait. Everything's in its right place. I didn't go to heaven, heaven tells you how I am, who I am. It tells you how I am, who I am. Who am I? Do you know who you are? Do you know how you are? Do you know how you are? Who you are? Who are you? Do you know how you are? Who you are? Who are you? Do you know who you are? How are you? Who you are? Do you know? How high are you? I'm high. How are you? Are you high too? Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Are you high too? I'm high, how are you? I'm high, how are you? I'm high, how are you? Hung up? Bound to be visibly, physically bone dry? Visibly, physically bone dry. Visibly, physically bone dry. Rags to riches. How does it go? Rags to riches, to riches to rags. 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 The quickest to brag is the pat on his back, and the quickest to pat the back that got rich quick. He gets the benefit. No shit, that's what you get. I shit you not, that's what you got. It's a cheap shot. Rags to riches, to riches to rags. Yeah, rags to riches, to riches to rags. Your fixations are evasive. In the end, they just get lost in a stream of like-minded bad ideas that just run off heavy as solid matter of fact. I like that down into the big drink. Down into the big drink where all water does sink down to its own level. Down into the big drink where all water does sink down to its own level. Way below the notion of my musical emotion that can sit there in the air above your ocean of despair, where collective cynicism, negative organisms are swimming in them. The red tide ripping them up, a rip tide ripping them up, ripping and rapping, rip. Red tide, ripping them up, spitting them out to spare me from the glare. I'm aware that you're down there, you're just ambivalent, but living it blatantly benign, denied, defunct, depunked. Oh well, floating is better than being sunk. Floating is better than being sunk. Instead of floating is better than being sunk. Hey, floating is better than being sunk. Floating is better than being sunk. Oh, rags, riches, rags, which is it gonna be? Is the rags, the riches, the rags, which is it gonna be? Oh, which one is more wicked? Is it the rag or is it the riches? Riches, which is it gonna be? Oh, whoa, whoa, there's a big wig where the wicked sit in the cockpit of the ship. There's a big wig where the wicked sit in the cockpit of the ship. The ship, they steer the ship, they steer the ship. The ship they get away with is despicable. Oh, you know it's indefensible. Ah, oh, oh no. Rags to riches to riches to rags. Rags to riches to riches to rags. Rags to riches to riches to rags. The quickest to brag, it's a pat on his back. The quickest to pat the back. They got rich quick, he gets the benefit too. Well, with nothing but half of the full spectrum, positively pure potential gets neglected and rejected while cobwebs collected. I get affected. But I still will fly up in your face. I'm high, how are you? I'm high, how are you? Hung up, found to be visibly, physically, visibly, physically, physically, visibly bone dry. You're visibly, physically, 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 you're basically, physically, you're busy being physically, you're basically busy, you're basically, physically, physically, easy for me to say. Not. It's not easy for me to say. After all the jacks are in their boxes and the clouds have all gone to bed, can hear happiness staggering on down the street. Afoot, a prince dressed in red, and the wind whispers, Mary. A broom is drearily sweeping up the broken pieces of yesterday's life. Somewhere a king is weeping, and somewhere a king has no husband, and the wind cries Mary. The traffic lights that turn blue tomorrow and shine on emptiness and down on my bed. The tiny island sags downstream because the life that lives there is fucking dead. And the wind screams Mary. Oh, will that wind ever remember all the names that it has blown in the past? With its crush, old age, and its wisdom, it whispers, no, this will be the last. And the wind cries Mary. It's night here right now. Where are you? India? Where is it nighttime right now? I want to know, just out of curiosity. Thank you, Sue. All the years combined, they melt into a dream. A broken angel sings from a guitar. In the end, you'll hear that song. Crying like the wind down every lonely street that's ever been. Stella Blue, Stella Blue, Stella Blue. All the cards are down. There's nothing left to see. There's just these broken dreams and vanished tears. In the end, you'll hear that song. I'm crying like the wind down every lonely street that's ever been. Stella Blue, Stella Blue, Stella Blue. I've stayed in every blue light cheap hotel It all rolls into one. Nothing comes for free. There's nothing you can hold for very long. And in the end you'll hear that song. Come crying like the wind. Well, it seems like all this life was just a dream. Stella Blue. Oh, Stella Blue, Stella Blue, Stella Blue, Stella Blue, I made it through the song. It's hard to make it through that whole song. It requires patience. That's a Jerry Garcia song. Well, it's a Grateful Dead. Jerry Garcia and Robert Hunter wrote that one. They're a good songwriting duo. Jerry would write the music, and then Robert Hunter would write the lyrics. And they knew each other really well, so it's like he knew kind of what Jerry wanted to say. It's an interesting marriage of talents. The Grateful Dead is so many different ideas coming together to form this one entity known as the Grateful Dead. But it was sort of larger than life, though. The whole situation with that band. It wasn't really just a band. It was like a lifestyle. It was like an approach to creative outlet, and it was about freedom and expression, freedom of expression, and just about having fun too, just dancing, having a good time. Man, I miss those days. But I'm just glad I lived them. I will carry them with me into the future. It's fun though whenever you get a bunch of Grateful Dead heads together in one spot, singing some Grateful Dead songs. I mean, it's like a certain nostalgia. There's nothing that compares to it. Phil Lesh died too, the bass player. Oh man, they're dropping. There's only Bob Weir left and like the drummers. Bob Weir was the youngest one. He was like 18 when they became like pretty famous. He was a teen star. And he's just some goofball too. They're all goofballs. That's what I loved about the Grateful Dead is like they weren't trying to be like flashy or like at all. They had a certain style about them, but it wasn't like about showboating anyone's ego necessarily. It was more about creative outlet, psychedelic exploration of your mind and the reality we exist in. The acid test. They were the house band at the Electric Kool-Aid acid test when people were first being exposed to LSD via the CIA and fucking Ken Kesey and all these all these fucking spooks. Hello, what's up, Lev? Oh, there's somebody else named Lev. Sahik Kumar. Well, thanks, man. Got some worldly viewers today. Nice. Glad to see some people popping in here from all over the place. It's kind of cool. I like that. Even though I only got 3 people in here, I feel like we have a good representation of the plane in which we exist upon. The plain Earth. The plain old, same old, plain old it used to be. It's always been a plane. Here's how you can know for a fact that the Earth's surface can never form a spherical shape. And this is because Earth presents itself as being planar. Anywhere we go on Earth, it's going to be planar. Extending an extended plane. And yeah, sure, it could wrap around and form a sphere, but no, it doesn't. Because check it out. An extended plane. What's the biggest circumference you can draw on the face of the Earth? And what would be inside that circumference? What would it be encompassing? That's just a question I like to pose to people because really, you should be able to put a circumference around the entire known world. It seems pretty logical to me. Just go on the outskirts of it and just go around the whole place. But that's not possible on a globe, which is really bizarre. When I finally realized it, I'm like, oh, that's funky. I don't think that makes any sense. The biggest circle you can make on the face of the globe, Earth, is only circling half the available space. That's weird. That doesn't check out. I don't think that checks out logically at all. Because, if I told you the biggest circle I can draw in my yard is only circling half my yard, I mean, that would sound retarded. Unless my yard is like a weird shape or something. I like to ask people that argue for the globe. I'm like, so, like, what's the biggest circle you can draw on Earth? And eventually we'll get to the, they'll say like the equator. You know, it's 24,000 miles of circumference. It's the circumference of the ball Earth. And then I'm saying, okay, well, what's inside that circle? Then they'll try to either say it's a straight line, so there's nothing inside it, or it's circling the whole world. And then I'll be like, well, okay, so if the equator was my property line, would I own the whole world? No. I'd own half the world. Which half? I don't know. It doesn't matter. So let's say that was my property line, the equator. And now I want to add more property. I already own like the entire northern hemisphere, let's say. So now I want to expand my property evenly in every direction. I want to encompass more area inside my property line. So the only thing that I would be able to do is I would have to just walk south of my property line, which is the equator, and then make a new property line around the outside of it. Go all the way around it, you know, because I want to expand evenly. So my property is going to be bigger. I'm going to have that much more property. Okay. So I move south of the equator. You know, I go, let's say it's, 60 miles south of the equator, and then I start making a new property line. I go around the entire equator, which is my old property line. I have a new property line now. I added a bunch more property because 60 miles is already a ton of property. But then I went and followed it all the way around the perimeter of my property. So I added 60 miles, a 60-mile ring around the entire property line I already had. So I added a shitload more property. And now, the property line around, my measurement around my property now I have a smaller measurement than I did before. I added a shitload more property, and now my property line shrunk. That doesn't make sense in the real world. Like, that just wouldn't work. That's not what we would see. Like, you can't do that. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Because what happened to the bigger measurement that was before that? Like, if you have one measurement and then you go and you add a bunch more property, and now you have a smaller measurement around your property. So what happened to the bigger measurement that's inside that? It just doesn't make any sense. Thing is, if you went about making concentric circles on the face of the earth, doesn't matter where you start. Concentric circles are circles around the outside, like circles around circles. They get bigger and bigger, they spread out. So you start with one little circle, then you make a circle around that, and then a circle around that, and you're encompassing more and more earth as you expand outward. The circles keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And what I want people to think about when they do this thought exercise is imagine how big those circles will get after a while. I mean, they'll get fucking massive. And you can know, like, every time you finish your last circle, you're encompassing like some vast amount of earth. If there's more earth beyond that circle that you just made, around the entire circle, if you can see more earth beyond that, then that means you could still make a bigger circle. And so you would just continue like that, making bigger and bigger circles all the way out. And the only thing that you have to understand is that as long as there's more earth, as long as you can see more earth beyond the last circle that you just made, like you're inside your property, your big circle, as long as you can go around the entire perimeter of your property and see that there's more earth beyond your circle, you know for a fact that you can make a bigger circle. You can still keep expanding. That's all you really need to understand, is that as long as there's more space beyond your last circle that you made, you can continue making bigger circles. And that's pretty much going to be the situation all the way out. I mean, that's just how it's going to be. Your circles will just keep getting bigger. You're never going to see anything else happen. Because you can't make a smaller circle around the outside of another circle on the surface of the earth. And you know that just because however big your circle gets, you'll know that if there's more earth beyond your circle, that you can still make a bigger one, a bigger circle. So the concentric circles keep getting bigger, and that's it. They just keep getting bigger all the way out. That's all that can happen. That's all that in a realm that presents itself as being planar, such as Earth, that is what will happen. The circles will just get bigger all the way out. Now, living on the surface of a 3D object, a sphere, with a caveat, whatever the word is, with like this caveat where it's like no matter where you go on this ball, you always feel like you're just right on the level plane, like we are, So it's like you'll never really feel like you're going on a ball anywhere. You never get it. You never experience this surface of a ball that we allegedly live on. We never really experience that. You know, it's not something that we can observe. And so, but the thing is, living on the surface of a 3D object, a sphere, there's certain things, there's certain things that would have to happen that simply cannot happen on a realm that presents itself as being planar. And I'll explain. On the surface, living on the surface of a 3D sphere, you know, a 3D surface, a ball, with the caveat that no matter where you go on this ball, you always feel like you're just standing on top of a level plane. No matter where you go, everybody all at once, all over the whole earth. And the thing is, if you live on a ball for real, that would mean your concentric circles that we were talking about earlier, they get bigger and bigger and bigger and they spread out, but they can only get so wide. They'll get as wide as the median of the ball, the halfway point. And you're measuring on the surface of the earth, so eventually you'll reach that median measurement, you know, where you would otherwise be sideways from where you started. But you don't feel sideways, you just feel like you're still how you always do. But at that point, that's the biggest circle you can make on the globe Earth. And now if you just keep moving outwards like you've been doing, now your circles are going to have to start shrinking somehow. And, you know, like gradually down to just one little teeny circle, like just how you started, but all the way out the other end of the Earth. So you have to understand, after you reach the median of this globe Earth, your circles that you are making have to start shrinking. Even though you're not doing anything different, you're just stepping outside the last circle you made, making a new circle, but now it's going to be smaller, and then it keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller until you're just circling a teeny little area on the complete opposite end of the world. That's what would have to happen on a ball, and I don't know how that would look in real life. I mean, that'd be confusing. I don't think that's not what would happen in a realm that presents itself as being planar. It's impossible. It can't. Because those circles will just keep getting bigger, because as long as there's more Earth beyond the last circle that you made, you can make a bigger circle. And that's always going to be the situation. So there's no possible way that the Earth can form a sphere. No, it sure isn't. The only possible way that I can imagine that being true is if it's like magic, which I guess is possible. But that sure ain't science. Now, the globe model claims to explain the sky perfectly, like what we see in the sky. It claims to explain it perfectly. I don't think it does. Because when you think about the star trails that you get photos of people that leave the shutter open, and they you know, they point at Polaris and they get these perfect circles. I think if we were living on a ball, on the surface of a ball that's spinning, okay, it's spinning in one direction, and you know, it has an axis point that it's spinning around, you know. Like if you stay on the side of the ball that's spinning as it goes by like that, and you look out at the stars as they go by, as you're spinning and you see them going by, I would think it would be difficult to get those perfect circles. I would think you'd have to go to the axis point, or pretty close, you know, and then that would be the only place you could get those perfect circles. Because really, I mean, if you're on the side of a ball, which in most cases you would be, you know, because the axis point is just two, there's only 2 points on the ball where, you know, where it'll be like right below the axis, right, you know, where you can see a perfect circle. But if you're on the side of a ball, I would think the stars would be going by in like in a straight line. But instead, all we got to do, doesn't matter where you are, if you can see Polaris or whatever, if you're in the south, I guess it's Sigma Octantis. But if you, all you have to do is point your camera at the pole star, and then leave the shutter open or whatever you got to do, and then wait for time to pass, and you get those perfect circles. Where that doesn't make sense to me. If we were on a ball, I would think that wouldn't be that easy to do that. I think you would have to go to the axis point to get those perfect circles. To me, that makes, like, I don't understand how people have been able to reconcile that, because that doesn't really make sense. I don't think that's what you would get. I think it'd be easy to like simulate something like this, get a big ball and spin it and have a camera on it that's pointing out with a bunch of, you know, simulate the reality, like have a big darkened room with a huge ball in the middle of the room, and have LED lights all over the walls, floor, and ceiling. And then you turn that ball, you have it on a rotisserie and you just turn it slowly or whatever and have the camera facing out. And then you try it in different locations and see what you get, because I don't think you would get those perfect circles. I don't think you would get that unless you're at certain locations or like two specific locations, really, the axis point. And I'll argue with people about this to no end. No, it's been modeled out perfectly. It's exactly what you would see. I'm like, well, how do you know? I mean, it doesn't sound, logically, it doesn't really check out, I don't think. I would think the stars would be passing over you in a straight line. If you're on a ball spinning in one direction and you look up in the sky, the lights that are going by, you wouldn't be able to see those perfect circles like that. It doesn't make sense unless you're at the axis point. And I've always had that thought in my mind. I haven't started voicing it until more recently, but I've always wondered how that makes any sense. Anybody else there with me? No, nobody's even listening to me, huh? But I'm still going to talk about it because it's really interesting that people just accept that as being fact when it's like, it doesn't even check out logically. And I don't ever hear people talking about that part of it. They'll say, oh, the star trails are all, it's modeled out perfectly, exactly what you would see if you were living on a ball spinning in one direction. Nah, I don't think so. I mean, there's only one way to find out. You'd have to like simulate the experience, But even then, if it didn't match what we see in reality, they'll come at you with, oh, well, it's because of the optics of the sky and the space and the distance and the billions of miles and light years. And they'll stifle you with unverifiable factoids that aren't facts. Because the globe model can't be falsified. Which means it's pseudoscience. There's no way to falsify your scientific models and theories. If there's no way to falsify it, then what you're dealing with is like a religion or like it's dogma, where it's like we won't allow it to be falsified, basically. We'll find an excuse. If there's some hole in the model that we found, something about it doesn't check out, we'll make an excuse. Oh, you can see way too far? Because you wouldn't be able to see it because you live on a ball, so there'd be curvature, and so things that would be far enough away from you would be behind the curve, you wouldn't be able to see it. Yet people go and they make these long distance observations that completely like debunk the idea of curvature, where it's like, well, how come we can just consistently see way too far? Oh, that's because of refraction and the atmospheric conditions and the, refraction is an optical, we're talking about, optics and the optical phenomena or whatever. It's like, and refraction is most prevalent in like where the conditions are poor. Like if there's a huge temperature variance and there's like, like a sort of a thick atmosphere where it's kind of dirty or whatever. If there's a lot of stuff in the atmosphere, if it's just like really hot and it's really cold water, and you get these different sort of conditions that will cause refraction, where light will bend and images will warp, or you'll have certain optical effects that you can see. It's like that's not really what you're looking at. It's kind of like it's like a mirage, or like refraction will cause these different optical effects when you're looking over great distances, and there's different temperatures and atmospheric conditions that are also being factored into what's going on there. And so really what it comes down to, they'll say you can see too far because of refraction. Refraction is something that that happens when the conditions are poor. So they're trying to tell you that you can see further on days when the conditions are bad. I mean, that's just dumb. It doesn't make any sense. You can see too far on any given day, according to the model. Like, if you go by their measurements, you can see too far on any given day. Anywhere you go, you're looking further than you should be if the Earth was curving away from you. And they'll try to say, oh, the bottom up obstruction. Like the boat is, you can see the top of the boat, but you can't see the bottom because it's, because the Earth a ball and it's curving away from you. Well, you got to think about the orientation of things too at that point. If it's just the bottom that's being obscured, but you see the boat's still sitting how it would be, like it's still upright and it's in the same orientation as you, that's not curvature. Because if it was curving away from you, the boat would be sitting on something that's, if it's curving, the bottom of the boat would be sitting on another. The orientation would be different. You would see it rolling away from you. It wouldn't still be sitting level. It would be kind of curving away from you. You have to understand, it's not like it's going to just step down like a ladder or something. It would be rolling away from you. So the tops of buildings and things would be pointing away from you. And it would be fanning out, too, to the left and right. I mean, we don't see curvature. There's no evidence of curvature. There's no way to consistently measure curvature with any sort of meaningful degree of, like, this is not possible. It hasn't been done. And people will argue about that all day long, but the thing is, there's enough of us that are convinced that it's not there. There's no curvature. Which makes sense because the Earth does present itself as being planar. It's not like the flat earthers are really reaching, I mean, the only thing that flat earthers might seem crazy for is because we're just going against the grain of what society has set out as being true. Like, all the space agencies and all this shit they teach you in school about space and the solar system. It's like, the flat earthers are just like, well, none of that shit's true, and so that sounds crazy because there's so many people invested in that being true. How could that not be true? Was everybody lying? Well, no, but there are some people lying. But I mean, a good deception is gonna be a sort of situation where the fewest people that are actually deceiving, the fewer the better. Basically, they're not gonna. I mean, because you can't see the curvature of the Earth. There's no way anyone can get high enough up in the air to see it, and we can't measure it from the ground. I mean, nobody has seen it, is my point. And so, if nobody's witnessed it and nobody can witness it, then are you really sure that it's there and that you want to argue that it is? Because you don't really know that it's there unless you've witnessed it or you can measure it. Like, that's how a flat earther gets made. That's a flat earther. That's the flat earther's journey right there. It's like, I want to prove to myself that I live on a ball. Well, good luck, because there's no way to prove it. It hasn't been scientifically proven. No, it's just been mathematically modeled out by observations of the sky. And we can't go to the sky and go verify all the distances and all the qualities of the things that all the dynamics that we've been told is true. We can't go verify any of that. If we can't, then nobody has. So NASA claims to have sent probes to the sun and people to the moon and things to Mars, and you have to go and blow against the wind with all that shit. You have to just be like, all that shit's fake. I mean, it seems like a pretty bold claim to make, but when you go and look at the evidence that they have provided for those achievements, it's fucking fake, dude. I mean, it's fake. There's no other way to explain it. It's not real. And you'd think there'd have to be a lot of people in on it, but maybe not. I mean, I believe there is rocket science, and they do send rockets up in the air. Who wouldn't? Like, if money wasn't an issue, and you really wanted to, like, get a view of the place, I mean, of course you would make the rocket, and you'd want to send it up as high as possible, and and get a good view of the place. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? But it's just interesting how when they do that, or they claim to do that, the rocket gets up high enough, right? And then as soon as it's like about high enough to where you would start to see the ball Earth, it always like the rocket you could see it sort of arching, it's coming back down, and then they cut to CGI in the video. They'll show you like some CGI image. Oh, this is what it would look like if we had better, if we had cameras up there to film it or whatever. They have some excuse, you know, but it's like, it's just convenient that every time the rocket gets to that point where it's arching and it's starting to, you know, fall back down, that parabolic, you know, it's like it's starting to come back down. Then it cuts to the CGI video. I mean, if it wasn't for things like that, you know, where it's like every time they send a rocket up, it's always like that. They always cut to CGI. Right when you're getting to the money shot, it's like, oh, or right when you're realizing that it's about to start falling back down to the earth. Oh no, that's it going around the curve. Yeah, really? That elusive curve that you can't measure? No, that's it falling back down to the ground, to the earth, to the ocean. There's probably a lot of rockets in the big drink. The ocean's a huge place. It can swallow a lot of rockets. And, you know, it just so turns out that NASA pretty much runs the, like, NASA is in control of air traffic. That's their game. Like, they run the air traffic. I mean, it's all routed through this. It's all centralized. You know, I mean, they have strict control over this, over the air, over the, you know, the air traffic or whatever. You can't just go up there on your own and go explore and go see what you can see. I mean, you can, but you have to go get permission, and you know, you have to like, whatever. I mean, yeah, people send up their balloons, you know, and it's funny that you'll get up there and like 120, 100,000 feet above the earth, and the horizon's still at eye level, or close to, you know. And so it's like, oh, so it, people, if you really have to just accept the reality that this curvature is not there, and you don't see any curvature from any elevation that we've sent anything to. The ISS, no, it's just fake. I don't know what's flying around up there, but there's not people doing somersaults on it, whatever it is. If that shit was real, the public should demand, like, we want some oversight. I mean, this is our taxpayers' dollars at work. We should demand like oversight. Like, what are they doing up there? There's people on this thing flying around the earth. We need to see what they're doing. Like, why can't they just have cameras on their workstation so we can see the science they're doing every day, and like be inspired by it and watch what they're doing and achieving, you know? I mean, there's never been any kind of like in-depth, like, you know, expose of the science and their labs. And, you know, they have little brief things where they show you these little stupid little fucking things where they play with some water and they play with a flame, and they'll do little tricks and stuff. But I'm talking about the science. They're supposedly doing science up there for 20 some odd years, you know, flying at like breakneck speed around the earth every 90 minutes. And, you know, and it's like, we don't have any oversight on what they're doing. We don't, there should be cameras on that thing where we can see inside the vehicle at all times and see what they're up to, you know. It should be fascinating to people. We should be like demanding, like, you know, more like like we should be able to see what they're doing up there. They're spending our money, you know, conducting science. We should be able to see what they're doing. We should be able to have like some kind of visibility of it. They don't give you anything to sink your teeth into. It's always like, oh, we're up here and it's inspiring, and the earth is so fragile and small, and people, we should just love each other, and it's great. And I'll do a somersault and throw the microphone over to my friend. And they do. It's all theatrical. It's all like fucking for show. There's nothing that's substantive about it. It's like, you don't watch one of their presentations and walk away feeling like, well, I'm glad they're doing that, or like, wow, you know, there's so much stuff to learn. Like, you don't feel. It's like, even children would watch it and be like, well, what are they? So why are they? It's like, what is the point? I mean, you just go up there to get a view, and like, and then you contact Earth, and you don't even show us out the window. They're like in this one little room, you know, with all these wires, all this crazy, some big mess, you know, which isn't how you'd want to have it. But like, regardless, they're in there, arms folded, all like kind of awkward, you know, shirt tucked in, big old belt. They wear bison belts. Those are big fucking belts, you know, khakis. Okay, so like, do your pants fall down in space? I want to know. Are you worried about your pants falling down in space, where there's a 0 G or a low G? Is that what happens? Your pants fall down? Is that a concern? It must be because they all wear like these major like belts. I mean, it's like serious belt. It's like a big belt, and they're all wearing the same belt. They're called bison belts. For lifting bison. They're big, heavy duty belts. Like why? I just want to know why is that the dress code? That seems very specific, but it's like, but for what reason? They're all like strict about their belt dress code, but they don't care if you have long flowing hair. You can have hair down to your butt and just have it flowing everywhere. Is that how the government runs things? Like you're in the military, they let you have long flowing hair when you're out there fighting in the war, and you know, conducting like operations on sensitive equipment. Like you have your hair flowing everywhere. Is that how you do it when you're in the military or when you're working for the government doing science? You have your hair flowing all over the place in a big fucking mess. Like when you're in space and you're like, you have these like fucking, this system is like a life support where like if it breaks you die. Like the airflow that comes in and out, it's like they have to make their own air, and it's like, and so they have ducts that are recycling, channeling the air or whatever. It's like allegedly, of course. And it's like, dude, you have all this long flowing hair everywhere. I mean, they're fucking, the chicks with their hair, I mean, it's just like a dead giveaway that it's fake. Sometimes it's all flowing, like it would be like if you're underwater, like how it should be if they're in what they call a low G environment. Other times it's like sort of static. It's like, it's like this big hair bear, it's like, look at my hair, it's standing up. It's like, yeah, that's a ugly looking hairdo you got there. Like, it's not low G though. That's called hairspray or something. It's not fucking, it doesn't look right. Like the chick with like its sort of afro hair, she like had it all spiked up and like hairspray, and it's like, so she would do her little somersault, but the hair doesn't move at all. It's just, it's just so dumb. It's like some low brow shit right there. And like, and they even made a point to like, look at my hair, look at, and she's pointing at it, look at it, right? And she does a somersault, it's all like staying in the same place the whole time. So you put some like hairspray in it, or what are you pointing at your hairdo for? It's ugly. Well, I would hope that people wouldn't look at that if I were you. And like, so, is this how they conduct their science? And then they contact the earther in their little room, with all the wires, all the shit everywhere. It's just like there's no windows, you can't see outside of the thing, and it's all static. Like it's just not, you don't see it moving around at all. It's just like it might as well be just in this room right here. It's like it's not, it doesn't look like it's in motion at all. It looks totally still, and they're there, but they're like kind of, kind of floaty, and then like one guy will be standing with his feet on the wall. He's just sort of hanging there with his feet on the wall, but standing there. Otherwise he would be standing there like he's upright, but his feet are both on the wall. And he's like, kind of, look, I'm weightless. Yeah, but your orientation is interesting. Like that's how it would look if you were hanging from a wire. Like, and why do you have to wear that big heavy duty belt? I mean, are your pants really going to fall down in space? Is that a concern? Because that would suggest what you call gravity, just the normal situation where you're like, you wear a belt when you're down here on the surface of the earth because you don't want your pants to fall down. That's why you wear a belt. And so if you take your belt off and your pants fall down, well, you must not be in a low G environment because your pants wouldn't fall down. There is no down according to them. And the ISS is allegedly, they say it's falling around the curve of the earth, like it's in a controlled fall, but the gravity and everything works out just right to where it's like, the earth is spinning and it's, it's doing all this, some math, all the numbers all check out where it's like, okay, it's falling, but the earth is turning away from it just in time to where it doesn't really lose any elevation. It will, gradually, but they have little, little boosters that send it back up to the proper elevation, and it's all like, it's all mathematically all like figured out. It's all automated and whatever. It boosts it back up, when it loses a little bit of elevation, but it's always kind of in a controlled fall around the earth. So what they're saying is that it's actually still in, that's why they call it a low G, because it's still in a controlled fall, which is what they would otherwise call gravity, but it's like it's up there high enough to where it's kind of low G, where it's not falling as fast as it would if it got lower elevation. But here's why I'm saying this is because if they're in a controlled fall, that means there is a down, you know, for one thing. And so there's certain videos you can find of the ISS where they are showing you out the window. You can see out the window, you know, in the cupola or whatever. And there's certain videos where you can see the Earth is above them in their from their orientation, where they're in the cupola and there's, you know, looking out the window. The Earth is above them. Most of the time, you'll see the Earth is like below them when they show out the window. It's like the Earth is down there. But I've seen videos where the Earth is actually above them in the view when they look out the window, as if they're just like, you know. I think they do that just to spice it up or something, or make it look cool, like it doesn't matter, like there is no up or down or whatever. But the thing is, if you're in a controlled fall, you know, like there is a down, and however, you know, fast you're falling is beside the point. But if there is a down, right? And so how do you end up upset? Like how do you end up with the Earth above you at that point? Like the ship would have to turn upside down. Like you would have to have actually turned the ship upside down to see the Earth in that orientation above them. So it's like that big hunking fucking piece of junk was flipped upside down and like in this controlled fall. It doesn't make any sense, dude. Their stories always fall apart when you have to like. It's not coherent. It doesn't. You know, you take all the information and you try to look at it all in one big mess, and it's like it's not consistent. It doesn't check out. It's not science. It's not. It's just all theater and fucking. You know, it's just people talking. It's not really something that you can actually verify. I mean, you can see a little light shoot by, you know, and it says it's going to shoot by, but you can't see that there's people up there doing somersaults and wearing fucking bison belts and, you know, spraying their hair with a bunch of hairspray. You can't see that from the ground. You just have to trust them. Trust me, bro, is not science. That's just fucking indoctrination and fucking. It's just bullshit. It's people trying to, you know, get you to believe something for whatever reason. I don't know why they do it. I think they're doing it because it's like maybe they really thought the Earth was a ball at one point, and then they discovered it wasn't, or they realized that it was just ridiculous. But they were so obsessed with their idea they just didn't want to let go of it, and they thought it modeled out all right, and they just wanted to insist that it's true. And so they went to the moon and showed you, look, we can go land on a ball that's floating suspended in nothing and just go land on it and walk around like it was Earth. You know, it's like you can land anywhere on a floating ball and it's just like Earth. You know, that's how it is. It's true. Obviously, everything we told you is true. Look, it checks out. I'm sorry, but if people really landed on the moon, can you imagine the how intense that would be like to actually land on the moon? I mean, the level of it, that kind of achievement, just to be in that, to have left Earth and watched the entire Earth just shrink into this little teeny ball, you know, hundreds of thousands of miles away from you, to just goodbye, you know, see you later, Earth. Just hoping, I hope we get back home, you know. And then you manage to land safely on the moon, and you're up there walking around. You would hear in the people's voice, you would hear that they are experiencing something profoundly unusual, something that no, you know, it just wouldn't be a casual experience. You wouldn't hear them goofing off and joking around and laughing and playing like it was just a day at the beach or something. Completely relaxed, without any nervousness in their voice whatsoever. It wouldn't sound like that. There would be, you would hear the cautiousness in their voice. You would hear the hesitation, you know, and just it would be overwhelming at times, and there'd be moments where they're like, you know, maybe slightly panic, like maybe we should get going, you know. Maybe we should let's just go home. We should get out of here. It wouldn't be casual, and it wouldn't be like a fun day at the beach. It'd be more like, you know, like you're not gonna go drive your dune buggy, woo, you know, singing songs and dancing and fucking playing and running around. Like it would be a different vibe, man. There'd be no way to hide that. Like you wouldn't be able to act casual in that situation. It would be impossible. Like you wouldn't be able to just play like that. You would be in a place that's so dangerous and so It's just so different than what anybody's ever experienced. You would feel overwhelmed, and you would feel start scared. You would feel like an urge to get home. I would think there's no air there, and the temperatures are extreme. If that flimsy little spacesuit fails, it's going to be an agonizing death, and it's not going to be pretty. And it's on live TV. I mean, those are the kind of risks that people don't take. That's not. I mean, nobody'd ever even tested the spacesuits on the moon before because nobody'd ever been there in a spacesuit. It was the first time. They just, let's just, here goes everything, depressurize the limb, this little flimsy looking fucking ship, with thin walls and these little teeny skinny little fucking plastic looking legs that the thing landed on. It's like, that thing, allegedly has all this thrust, and it was flying 9,000 miles per hour out of it, it descended out of the orbiter and landed on the moon. And those little teeny rinky dink looking fucking piece of shit, these little legs, shit would have snapped, dude. I mean, that one picture of the limb where there's like an astronaut standing there at the controls, and you can see him fucking, you can see, like, you zoom in and you can see what the thing's made out of, and it's not real. It's not a fucking spaceship. It's like a fucking cheap movie set prop. You can see all of the construction paper how it's kind of warped up, and it's like, it's not sheet metal, it's construction paper, or like, it's like fucking paper mache or some shit. You can see all the fucking, it's all slapped together, like all the foil that's taped on the thing, it's like, it's not even uniform. It's just messy looking. I mean, plastic looking curtain rods and fucking tin foil. That's not, it's not what you would bring to space to fly around in. It doesn't make any sense, dude. It looks so bad. It's embarrassing. It's no wonder they lost the technology. I'd have lost it too. I'd have got rid of that shit quick. Huck it in the dumpster out back and light it on fire. Don't let nobody see it. That shit's embarrassing, dude. Yes, the dumpster fire known as the Apollo moon landings, a real kick in the pants. And Buzz has all but admitted that it was fake, I mean, he's basically said, oh, we didn't go. He's in so many ways, but he just, he's treading that fine line between, like, just coming out and admitting it or, like, being silly or something, oh, we didn't go. It didn't happen. Like that. I was like, we just didn't go. For the fame and money and stuff. I mean, we just, he's like, adds something at the very end. It's like he's been signaling to us for a while now. Poor Buzz. He probably loses sleep over that. Man, I just got to come out and be honest. I still have some life ahead of me, though. He's the one who's gonna admit it on his dying bed. I bet you anything. That'll be his famous last words. We didn't go. We already said that. No, but we really didn't go. Yeah, we pretty much figured that, Buzz. Yeah. Sorry, I mean, we should have just been real with each other. I mean, that's silly. Why live a lie? Why try to, like, like, perpetuate this fucking garbage idea that shit was possible? Like, you can go there in 1960s technology in this rinky-dink tinfoil spaceship and then fucking launch off the moon with all this thrust and fucking, like, meet up with the orbiter that's orbiting and then rendezvous safely and then depressurize and get back in the spaceship or whatever. These cramped little quarters with 3 guys and fucking then fly all the way back home. There's 3 more days in this fucking little teeny spaceship, and like going 25,000 miles per hour. You get to the Earth again, whatever, and you make it back to the Earth. You're going 25,000 miles. I think they went into orbit or something, but exactly how do you slow down going that fast? What is it? What is the mechanism for slowing something down that's going that fucking fast? Brakes? I mean, what is it that you do to slow down? And you just start doing some weaving patterns. What is the mechanism? I want to know. You can't say parachutes. You release parachutes going 1,000+ miles per hour. You know what's going to happen to those parachutes? They'll be shredded to smithereens before you even got to see them. They'll be long gone. Ain't slowing nothing down, dude. You know how fast that is? How fast is a speeding bullet? I think it's like 1,200 miles per hour or something. I don't know. I could be totally wrong about that, but It's just a fucking fraction of how fast they say they get these spaceships going. Like the space shuttle had to have reached like 18,000 miles per hour to leave, to like to, to get into orbit or whatever. That fucking hunk of junk, they got that thing going 18,000 miles per hour. How do you get that much speed in that fucking hunk of junk? It's not real. Time is it? Okay, cool. It's not real. Rockets in a vacuum. Yeah, that. Yeah, what are we gonna do once we get out of the atmosphere? We're flying the space shuttle around. And what? Why does it have wings? There's no air. That's so dumb, dude. They say like they literally their explanation for how they managed to get rockets through the vacuum is it has more to do about releasing mass. Like when they give that whole thing with like if you're in a chair with wheels and you weren't touching the ground and you throw a bowling ball in it, the motion, the action of releasing that mass pushes you back because you're on a chair that's rolling. There's no friction. You create momentum without having to push off anything. You're just releasing mass. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but that's the idea. That's what they say how they move rockets through the vacuum. So you're gonna like release mass constantly. I mean, I guess they say it's just a little bit. You get a long, like you get a lot of trajectory off of just a little release of mass. I'm sorry, dude. Nobody's in a vacuum. Nobody goes to a vacuum. Like what happens to things in a vacuum? Things that have air inside them. It's not pretty. It's not something you should want to see or risk putting yourself through. Anything that has moisture, like your mouth or your body, anything that's fluid, liquid will boil and evaporate. It's gone. It boils and it's gone in a vacuum. You know, things that have air in it will like implode. Or like basically explode. They'll be destroyed. The air needs to escape. It gets pulled out. However it ends up, whether it's an implosion or explosion, it's beside the point. Like you'd be dead, and it would be a miserable. It would be a fucking torturous experience to even think about somebody having to be put through. And it's not something that anybody in their right mind would ever want to risk having happen. Out on the moon in a little spacesuit, like what if that thing fails, dude? It's got zippers on it, and come on, man. You gotta take a shit. You gotta go poop in your spacesuit. It just wouldn't be an ideal situation at all, and you wouldn't be all like casually jumping around. Wee, this is fun. The eagle has landed. You'd be like, "Let me out of here. Let's go home." What's up, Andrew? Good to see you, bro. Hey, what's up? So you're in Brazil. Cool. English mustard? You mean English muffins or mustard? I like mustard. I like the spicy brown. You know what I like? Actually, it's Chinese mustard, the hot mustard you get in like the Chinese food restaurant. That shit's crazy. Like I used to challenge myself to try to put as much of that stuff on my food. One time I put too much spicy mustard, hot mustard on my egg roll or whatever it was that I was eating. We're like challenging each other or something. And fucking, I wished I hadn't done that. It was fucking scary, dude. That shit, like it does something. It's not like just eating too hot of a spicy like salsa or something where it's like your mouth is on fire and it's like, it's a different sensation. Like it gets up in your sinuses and like the spicy mustard. Like if you eat too much of it, like you feel like your head's gonna blow up or something. It's not good. I remember when that happened to me. I was like, oh, this is not good. Like I was kind of scared because it gets, it's getting worse and worse, and it's like your sinuses there's something happening. It's not good. It feels scary. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. Wow. Yeah, I'm not that big of a fan of mustard, but I like that hot mustard though. That would be one mustard. That would be my favorite mustard actually. Is a Chinese mustard. So I had this like a ball I got the kids for. I got a couple balls for on Christmas. And these are like ball. You know, they're like it's a ball. You know, but it popped. It had like a little flashy light in it. You know, and it flashed. And whenever you threw it around, it would like light up. But the thing popped, and I'm like, dude. The first thing I thought was like, dude, Halloween costume. Check this shit out, and it feels good, dude. It's like I have hair again. Shake my locks. It's my new look. What do you think? Will I get more views? Orange-headed motherfucking weirdo. And it's like neon, so it's like if I got under a black light, my head would just be lit up, dude. It should be great, huh? You like it? You jealous? There's a green one too. I should go pop that one. I might like the green one better. I should wear this when I go pick up my kid from school, huh? Like my new hairdo? Like, you know? Stupid, huh? Oh, this would be good to wear when I wear my clown mask. Oh, I'm glad I thought of that. Because I never know what to do with the rest of my head when I'm wearing the clown mask. I have a dope clown mask. Check it out. Every Halloween, I'm the insane clown. I go around with a hatchet and and I wear this one sweater that's like totally psychedelic. But I put this clown mask on and it lights up too. It's cool. But now I got the hair to go with it. And this is awesome. I just now thought of this. I'm the insane clown every year. I'm like, what is the juggalo? Let me think for a minute. Oh yeah, he gets butt naked. And he walks through the streets winking at freaks with the 2-liter stuck in his butt cheeks. What is a juggalo? It's a fucking lunatic. Somebody with the rope tied to his dick. Then he jumps out a 10-story window. Woo! What is a juggalo? Well, I don't know, but I'm down with the clown and I'm down for life, yo. He's like a dead body. Well, he ain't really dead yet, but he's not like anybody that you ever met before. He'll eat Monopoly and shit out Connect 4. What is a juggalo? He ain't a bitch boy. He'll walk to the hills and beat down a rich boy. That's enough of that shit. What if it sticks to your head? It's like that mask you put on. I can't take it off. It's stuck. He walked through the hills and beat down a rich boy. Some of my art that I made here. I paint on this stuff called Lexan. It's like a plexiglass, but it's flexible. Like it doesn't like plexiglass can break. You know, like if you try to bend it or something, it'll snap and break like glass. But this stuff called Lexan, it's polypro. I think some kind of polymer, but it's more like rubber almost. It's flexible, like it doesn't break. It's more expensive, but it's clear. You know, it's like a window. When I buy it, it's like this big sheet right here. You know, it was clear when I got it, and it has these protective layers of plastic on the front and the back. And I discovered that what I could do is I could cut shapes into the protective layer of plastic because it's adhered to the thing, but you peel it off. You know, once you get it in place, and just so it doesn't scratch. You know, that's why they have the plastic on it. But you can cut these shapes into the plastic and then peel it off and then paint. You know, and then go and peel off the other shapes and then paint that color. You know, you could. I came up with a method myself. I'm like, that's actually a good idea. It's like reverse painting. You don't have to use, like when you're doing stencil work with spray paint, like you have to cover what you've already painted if you're going to add another layer, because you're painting. You know, you don't want to paint over what you've already painted. You have to cover it up if you're going to add some more stuff. But when you do it in reverse like this, you don't have to cover anything because you're painting backwards. Like, if it makes sense, what I'm saying is like once you peel off, like I say I'm gonna make this painting right here. Like I would cut the shapes into it. I'd cut that pattern. First I'd draw it on the thing, and then I would cut out. I'd take a razor blade and cut out the shapes, and then I would say, okay, I'm going to start with black, and then I would just peel off all the shapes that I wanted to have that would be black, and I'd go and spray all that, and then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to do pink, and then I'd peel off all the ones that are in pink, and then I'm like, I want to do brown and light pink, and then I would, and I would go around and just peel off the layers as I went, because when you're painting backwards, you don't have to worry about painting over what you've already painted. There's no way to paint over it, you know what I'm saying? So it was a cool idea that I came up with, and I took it, ran with it. I mean, I have all kinds of crazy paintings I've made. Some kind of toroidal looking shit going there. But I've gotten wild with it, man. I've done a grip of paintings. There's my Freemason checkerboard. I made that painting before I knew anything about Freemasonry, and I've gotten so much shit about that. Because sometimes it's in the background in one of my videos. They're like, why do you have a Freemason checkerboard in the background? I'm like, I painted that before I even knew about all that shit. So you can't think I'm a Freemason just because of that. I'd have to be flashing you hand signs and fucking trying to convince you of some propaganda of sorts. I don't even know. It's like, what's up with the Freemason influencers? I mean, are there some that are just proudly owning it, or is it all like this covert thing where nobody has? They never admit. Can you admit it if you're a Freemason? It's like, I'm sure they want to have it to where it's like you have to deny it if somebody accuses you of being a Freemason, or you have to say no. That way, anybody that says no is now like a suspect. I mean, it's just such a shit show with all that. It's like, what are people worried about anyways? It's like, so there's somebody who watch on YouTube, you think they might be a Freemason for whatever reason it is. Like, so are you scared, or like, what are you worried is going to happen? I watched a Freemason. So what? Like, you just have to be able to parse through information, and I don't know. It seems like a dumb thing to be worried about. Like, if there's somebody that you think is deceiving you or whatever, and for whatever reason, and like prior to you thinking that, like, you had enjoyed the content for whatever it was worth, but now you're suspicious of them and you think they're deceiving you. Well, I mean, just analyze what they're talking about, or just size it up, and just, you should take anything anybody says with kind of a grain of salt, in the sense where it's like, it's just somebody talking, unless they're providing if they're talking about things, that where it's like, they're making claims that are just absolute, and they're not providing any sort of proof or evidence to support their claims. Well, I mean, we all know how to, what is it that what people are worried about is what I'm trying to figure out. It's like, so what if you think somebody's a Freemason? Like, what is it that you're scared of? Like, why are you just, I don't want to follow them or watch their show. Well, I don't really want to either. but like, just accusing, like, Dave Weiss is a Freemason. Is he? Okay. I mean, his shit does kind of suck sometimes. I mean, but I like a lot of the stuff that he's done, though. But his model is kind of crap, It's like, he made a flat Earth model that's just easily debunked. I mean, he's not really doing flat Earth that many favors in that regard. And he's going around like, buy my app, and it's like, they buy the app and then they go realize that it's not legit. I mean, it's like, why do they have the sun and moon on it is what I want to know, because that's not what how do you get the analemma on Dave's app? Is that something you factored into that app? I just want to know things like that. Like, how does the sun make an analemma if you look at Dave's app? I mean, maybe there's an explanation. Maybe I'm just totally head up my ass right now. Maybe it's just because the sun spirals up or something and it creates that image. But I don't know. Trying to understand what the sky is doing is not what flat Earth is about, really. It might seem like a cop-out, but really it's not. I mean, we're talking about the Earth after all. and the sky is married to the earth and everything, but we don't have access to the sky the way we do the earth. So to make your claim all hinged around what we see in the sky, like that's not that's not logically, consistent in the sense of like we're going to hinge our entire understanding of the earth based on what we've observed in the sky, the place that we can't have access to and go study, hands on, or like actually go make real measurements. That's called like that's called pseudoscience. It's not even empirical science at all. And that's what you find out about the globe model. You're like, so it just turns out that it's never actually been scientifically verified. It's just been mathematically modeled based on sky observations, the place that we can't go verify whether or not any of the information we've been handed is actually accurate. We measure the distance to the sun by using radar. Yeah, let me see that. I want to see that happen. I'd like to be part of that. I want to go witness that being done. Because then I'll agree. If I can go see it and it checks out, I'm just like, and it all seems logically like it works, and what they did just showed me that the sun is 93 million miles away, and it seems believable, and it all looks like it works, and I'll say, okay, it's 93 million miles away then, I guess. Even though, I mean, like how exactly, I guess you would know how far radar, I mean, you can judge distance with radar, but can you really bounce radar off of sun like 93 million miles away? I mean, aren't we like supposed to be in motion? Like the time you launch something that far, I mean, I would think that things, I mean, it'd be kind of hard to aim and then retrieve the signal, if everything is moving, and like that's a lot of distance, like how long does it take for that signal to come back? And like, is it going to come back to you if everything's been in motion during that period of time? Like, and can you really bounce radar off of a light? Radar is light. Can you bounce light off of light? I don't. No, I don't think so. They say the sun is like a physical thing, but which it probably is. But I don't know about bouncing radar off it. I haven't witnessed that. I've just been told that's what's been done. I haven't actually witnessed it. And the same with the moon. They say they bounce, lasers off the moon or radar or whatever, and they know that the moon is 237,000 miles away. If that's the case, then why does the moon only light up the clouds right in front of it? The clouds aren't hundreds of thousands of miles away. No, they're just right there, within like whatever, however few many miles, they're not that far away. But the moon is allegedly a 250,000 miles away. Like, how come that moonlight will shine all the way 250,000 miles away, come all the way to Earth, and not spread out at all? It only lights up the clouds that are like right passing in front of the moon, just those few clouds right there. That light would normally a light would spread out a little bit, or after illuminating the ether. It's like the light go anywhere. It's just it's not traveling. But the thing is, light does spread out. Like as it attenuates. It's like by the time you see the light from the moon here, like you would think that it would be lighting up more of the clouds in the sky. Why would it only light up just the clouds right in front of it? That is evidence of a local moon. Unless the clouds are that far away too, but they're not. And I don't know what the excuse they've got for that one is. Like, why does the moon only light up the clouds right in front of it? I mean, it'll light them up, but it's like I'm talking like brightly light up the clouds. Like next time you see the moon and there's clouds out, just notice that the clouds are only lit up right in front of it. And we're supposed to think that moon is 250,000 miles away, and the light is only illuminating the clouds that are right immediately in front of it, from your perspective. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think that's what you would see from a light 250,000 miles away. What is it, a laser? How does it stay so focused? I mean, it could be a laser. The moonlight is cold. I think they have cold lasers. That's weird. Flat Earth has taught me so much shit over that. I never even knew that light could be cold before I dove in this rabbit hole. Pretty interesting stuff. Funny how Jeranism fell back into that. Like after understanding that we don't need to look at the sky to understand that the Earth is a level plane. After understanding that very basic, concept of like just accepting reality for what it is. I mean, he fell into that whole trap. I mean, it's like the dude is a psyop, man. Like the guy is just a plant. I can't even. I used to think that was a paranoid way of thinking about it, but nowadays I just look at him and I'm just like, dude, this guy is a fucking plant. Like his whole thing was just a big fucking gag, dude. He was the guy pushing the no 24-hour sun in Antarctica in the first place. And it's just funny how he was the one that went down and debunked his own thing and fucking, debunked the flat Earth. And that's how it's going to go down in the textbooks, like in the future. Oh, this flat earther, the leader of the flat earthers, he went and proved that Earth wasn't flat. That's how it's going to go down in the textbook. Guaranteed. He's like the poster child for why he shouldn't be a flat earther, Oh, it's interesting. Oh, I was wrong. Anyways, I got to go to work. Thanks for hanging out with me, though. Cheers.